Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. Again, as you can see, we have a special guest. This is going to be like a bit of a show review kind of interview style that we tend to be doing at the minute with people who are doing very well this season, winning shows, winning overalls. And today we've got Andy Scott on the podcast. Big Andy Scott. To be fair, like I don't think we've ever spoken on Instagram or anything, but I've known you for quite a while. I remember it was Josh Bogdani that was coached by you, wasn't he? So I think I've known you from like back then, maybe even before then, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And, and obviously, you've had a very good weekend, very successful show day yesterday, mate. So run us through what happened. So it was, for people that don't know, it was the Two Bros 10X Scottish Championships. Andy won the bodybuilding overall. We'll get some photos up, mate. But yeah, like feel free to give us an introduction to yourself. Let us know how the weekend was, how you sort of got on yesterday, what happened. Like, give us a run through.
Yeah. So I'm Harry Scott. So I've been competing and started as a junior, competing with NABA, but kind of slowly been pushing myself up the ranks, and then eventually went into Class 1 Super in 2018 after coming out the juniors. And ever since then, I've just kind of been just chipping away, eventually getting to where I am now. So, like you said, it was the first Two Bro show north of them. So it was kind of a big moment for Scottish bodybuilding, and stepping on stage in front of a home crowd for the first time in 5 years. Yeah, get the overall win there as well, which was absolutely brilliant. So it was a great run, and yeah, I definitely thought that brought like the best look I've ever to the stage. And there's been, I'm sure we'll touch base with that, but there's been, some numerous year along with my coach Nick Vandal to get the look that we achieved. Happy with.
The photos are really good, man. Like, I know Finn gave a bit of an intro. I didn't even know I wasn't following you, mate. So I do apologize to send you a random voice note today saying, "Oh, mate, can we get you on? It'd be good." But I've seen you for the last couple of years, and then I saw you guest posed a few weeks back, didn't you? I say a few weeks, probably about maybe a few months back now at this point.
Yeah, we
Um,
we spoke about that on the podcast, didn't we?
yeah, and I remember you stood out because obviously the other guys were pretty sound, but I remember seeing you and I was like, Jesus Christ, absolutely immense. So yeah, it's really, really good. And did you say just to confirm you had 5 years? What? So like your last stage show was 5 years ago prior to this?
No, the last time I was on a Scottish stage was 5 years ago. My last show was the Ben Weeder Classic in 2022.
Okay.
Prior to that, I'd done about a year's worth of prep, and by the time I got to that show, my body was done. So what I call an official show, where I actually liked how I looked, was at the Arnold US Amateur, but
Okay.
in the super heavies. So it was like no chance I was going to win that ever. So prior to that was the Arnold UK in 2021. So,
Okay.
but yeah, the
I heard,
last one was 2019. So
like I said, I heard 5 years, and I was like, I swear I've seen photos. You compete like maybe I've aged rapidly.
I've been
But
on
yeah, and
since.
it's saying here stage weight
Uh,
253. How tall are you, mate? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm 5'11" when I put my hair up like this.
Nobody can answer that
Uh,
question normally, can they? Everybody has like
yeah,
mine's like, oh, I'm 5'11" or I'm 6 foot with shoes on. If I talk stand up straight, like nobody's just got a straight. I'm this.
I know, I know. I wish I could round it up to 6 foot, but I can't.
Yeah, just go for it, mate. No one knows. Get an inversion table. That's what everybody does now. You just make yourself taller.
I
For
don't know. Bodybuilding, it's the opposite. You want to be smaller. Like, if anything, it's like, oh, I'm 250. 250 at 6 foot. It's like, oh, you're pretty small, bro. 250 at like 5'9". It's like, you're fucking jacked. You might as well just shave. When you meet people, just shrug your shoulders down. And if you're not, just like,
I
really bad.
make myself shorter.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
what's the plan now, mate? Obviously, it says here on to Alicante to go for that pro card. So, like, give us a bit of a run through as to sort of the plans moving forwards. And let's say, have you planned out for if that doesn't go to plan? Like, give us a bit of a run through that.
Yeah, so Alicante in 3 weeks. So one of my best mates, Greg, he done that show last year, so I went to that. And then I had a client in the same show, different name of the show, in September. So I know that show and that promoter quite well, and I've always wondered about it. So that seemed like a pretty sure choice. And being 3 weeks after the Scottish to do that one, if that one doesn't go to plan, then there's a Shoto Classic 2 weeks later, and then I have to shut it down at that point because I beefed that for my mate's 30th on the 29th of June. So that's going to be the end of the season there. But hopefully get what I want from the Alicante show, and with a little bit of refinement on yesterday's look, I think it can be quite competitive. So I can pull it out of the bag and get the result that I need and want. Sorry.
What is the plan moving forward in regards to those shows? Are you aiming to come in fresher, fuller, tighter? Where's your head, and what's your coach saying when it comes to where things are?
Yeah, so basically yesterday the kind of general feedback to be maybe a marginally tighter. For some reason this year I couldn't get my glute. Whereas the thing is, though, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because when I get every other body part kind of suffers in order to do that. So the look that I brought you, where I'm more balanced everywhere else, but I've, almost not lost as tight in my glutes. I think that overall look was much better, but I still like to do the glutes. It takes a lot from me to fill out like a really, since I was 22. So I think we do have a good formula to get me full, but it's just for me. I really have to really push food super hard, and obviously you go into possibly spilling, digestive issues and stuff like that. So it's fullness was bang on. I just like to be a wee bit tighter through like the top of my core. I think that's going to be the game plan for Alicante. But there was numerous people, including my coach, who were just like, if you go too hard too soon, you'll end up fading again and stuff. It's a little bit tighter through the glutes and the top of the quads. I think is going to be the game plan.
Yeah, no, I think that would definitely be doable. It's not where, like, again, you're not miles off at all. You're very, very close. And with 3 weeks, it's quite nice, because I think a lot of people probably make the mistake of having like a week or two, and it's like with the travel, all that sort of stuff, just coming back down to a baseline. 3 weeks means you can slowly and steadily just chip away, and like you're like everywhere looks fantastic. It's just a case of, as you said, like when I saw the photos, I think it was in the overall. The guy, I think it was Ross. Is it Ross, the bald dude who was to the right side of you? He was on the outer edge, and then the guy in the middle. I thought his glutes were just maybe a touch sharper, but then that was literally just the only thing that I could think of when it comes to. That's it.
I think it was the one shot.
Yeah.
The guy to your right, his glutes look like peeled, but also you've got different trunks on. Like you're hiding some of your glutes, obviously, with the trunks that you've got on, but also like regardless of that, like look at the whole package. A lot better.
Yeah, it's not a rear double glute, it's a rear double bicep. And sometimes we wish it might have been a rear double glute shot.
Yeah, I wish it was a rear double glute spread.
You never know about that. In regards to actually the whole self, everything else is really, really good. It's just a case of you look at your glutes in comparison to the guy next to you, and you're like, yeah, you could have been sharper a little bit, but at the same time, mate, like this, it's really not really too much of a concern with 3 weeks. So it'll be good to see.
Yeah.
When it comes to staying in full, what was the peak week protocol and stuff like that? How many carbs did
you? So basically, we've done usually do a cheat meal on a Saturday night. So a week out, we've done the and then as of the Monday, because I usually take the weekend off training. So as of the Monday, so started up near 1,000, and we kind of held 1,000 for Monday through tapering. We taper cardio right back. So I still like to keep a little bit of cardio in, even during like kind of good place. And then we done 600 and put another cheat meal in before bed, and then we done 2 meals. I think that was a a good formula and a good amount of food that went in. But if you can push food a little bit more, or fullness a little bit more, which I don't feel I really need to, but there is room there to make that case if that's the case. I don't do anything like, I haven't done that since I was a junior because I just don't feel it does anything for me. It's taken a long time for Nick and I to kind of really like refine to feed, because obviously when you're like early in your career, you're a little bit wary about how much power to go on stage and stuff. So, but now, we're not scared to feed. We're just clear to we possibly can, within reason, obviously, within like the gut health and stuff like that. But it's one of those ones where slowly realise that I can handle a lot more food, and it always makes me look better. Where I don't feel I'm ever going to spill on like rice and cream of rice. You know what I mean? So it's one a little bit more. Treat myself like a client. That's one of the things that I try to implement, because with Nick, like Nick takes on board what I say. So it's kind of relationship where I come up with ideas and what I'd like to do. I pass them on to him, and that seems to be the setup that works for us the best. And that's kind of what we've done this entire prep. And I was able to think, right, if I look this way, what would I do with a client who looked that way? And I think that's kind of what's produced the look that we got at the weekend. It was just trying to remove from the setup.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like once you find that look, it's just a case of refinement. And that's, again, when you've got 3 weeks, it'll be exciting to see the next stage look. Going back to food, you mentioned cheat meals. What would be the go-to cheat meal? Is it a case where your coach just says free meal and you just get what you fancy? Or is it a case where it's a set off-plan meal?
Yeah, it's always set 5 guys. So just I'm really, really boring with food: lettuce, tomato, ketchup, and then just like a regular fries, and all through the prep. And that's been every Saturday night. So we know exactly how my body reacts to that every single time I have it. So we done that the night before. But it's the first time I've ever done a cheat meal. I've never ever done that. So when Nick suggested that, I was a bit wary, but I know he suggests is going to be everything's worked for the past 20 weeks, so it'll be now. So trusting the process and pulled out the.
Was it a five guys afterwards? Sorry for jumping in, bro. Was it 5 guys? Not what it was. It was the protocol.
Wink, wink.
The coaching classic is when you look at like, yeah, go for it, bro. Just half a diet. Check in with me in the morning. I'll see you then.
You'll be dynamite. Well done.
Happy with that. Nah, really, really, really good, man. Finn, have you got anything to ask him?
I was going to say, in regards to like coaching, so how old are you, first of all, mate?
Well, just away to turn 32.
Okay. And how long have you been coaching? Because I feel like coaching-wise, you're known for being a good coach. Obviously, you've got a lot of good results. Like even just going on your Instagram, a lot of your Instagram is your clients and your client sort of transformations. And on your bio, you've got a hell of a lot of good client sort of results that shows. So feel free to sort of tell us a little bit more about your coaching, like how you got into it, and sort of what you're about in regards to your coaching.
Yeah. So prepping people back in 2017. That was the first kind of bunch of clients I put on training since I was 16, since 2016. And so yeah, I do. I'm a personal trainer, online coach, prep coach. I don't like confining myself just to competitors. I love working with everyone. DT that I've never been at a gym before, and I've got guys like the most recent post there, like Kirk O'Brien. When it's a broad range of clientele that I've got, but I love it that way. That a broad range of clientele, like from competitors. Fortunate enough to turn someone pro, IFBB pro as well. So, and then clients that I train as well. So I love having that broad range of everyone, and I love being in the gym. I know a lot of people in recent years have kind of moved away from one-to-one PT, but I love that, and that's something that'll always remain career-wise. Is I love putting people and whatnot. So it's not just confined to the laptop. But yeah, I take good in my coaching. I've got a lot of great guys up and down the UK, and it's been I'm always very, very humbled when people want to ask me for like close friends and stuff that I meet in the gym up here. And the Scottish scene, as good as it is relatively small. We all know kind of like the big hitters and that. So when they come to me for help and that, it does mean a lot. Really honoured that a lot of people have asked me for help over the years. So
yeah, I feel like you are at least in sort of people that you think about when you think of Scottish bodybuilders, like you're up there as one of the main guys that people are looking at, and sort of with a lot of potential as well. Like obviously you were posing with Julian on your, where was it? I'm sure it was on here. You were posing with Julian. Like obviously he's like him and Josh and like a lot of the younger like natural guys, like I guess are getting a lot of clout, but I think you're sort of one of the go-to guys that even they'll learn a lot from. So yeah, it's cool, man. Like how long have you been training, and like how did you get into training? It's always quite cool to hear that story.
What's your training like? Because there's not that many training clips. Like what would you look upon your training as when it comes to fundamentally intensity, all that sort of stuff?
T-bar rows in it. I saw that reel about T-bar rows. That's all you do.
Yeah, that's all. It's all I do for my back. Yeah. Over the years, I've used so many different methods and styles. So I worked with Patch back in 2020 through lockdown, and learned a lot from him training wise with his but the go-to for me always comes back to the kind of the Dorian Yates style. That's the style I'm using for a long time now, and as we've grown and both increased our experience with training and stuff like that, and more susceptible you are to your CNS, being like overtaxed and stuff. So low volume, just all out, just disgusting failure. I mean, if you want, I've got plenty of YouTube videos up on my channel, full length training videos. So you can go have a listen from everyone. Like I love training. To me competing to me is a side effect. I really, really love training, and I've done it all, and I love experimenting with different things. Like Patrick's SST system is very, very, against the grain, and then to obviously take inspiration across the world and putting in wee tweaks in here, and then come up with kind of like what I call like a hybrid system that I've with kind of more so it's the kind of Dorian Yates aspect style, failure, force rep negatives and things like that. But it's heavy as a working set. Volume in the past has always tended to kind of just like it gives me a better look. Areas like my chin, much volume. So for instance, all through that prep, I think I was doing maybe 4 tests all through that prep, and then towards the end it was just 4 working sets. So like of my weaknesses, because I feel if I do too much volume for those, they don't grow, stuff like that. So, and then leg work and back work is probably a little bit hard. It's still relatively low to what I would consider to be the standard right now in terms of training in the UK.
In terms
That's nice
of,
to hear.
Go on, Reece.
I think it's nice to hear. Like in regards to, I really like, there's something I think me and Finn always say, and I think it's lost nowadays with how people are, is like you should be competing as a byproduct of your training and loving the training side of things. Because if you don't, towards the end of a prep, you'll start to hate training, and then you probably won't want to train after your prep finishes and all that sort of stuff. I feel like most of the time nowadays, it shouldn't just be, okay, I do Dorian Yates let's say low volume, high intensity, or I just do this. It should be a blend of upon experience, upon what you enjoy, what works for you, and knowing when to push volume up and when to pull volume down. And that's, if anything, again, something that I think is lost nowadays, is because people will just have a coach or they buy a training plan and it's like, oh, my training plan says 2 to 3 sets, but their intensity is shit and they can't train that hard. When in reality, it should be a case of being able to push and pull things up and down, knowing how to like manipulate your training based off your needs. And it's no surprise, like you look at the photo that Finn's got here, like you look genuinely like class, like the glutes and the side leg, mate. Like even on a relaxed shot, ridiculous. So yeah, no, it's really really good to hear, man. Like, and I think it's quite a nice. It's not just it's not the modern day, and you've probably seen it even more so because me and Finn are a fair bit younger than you. Sorry to bring up your age, but it's been a case probably where you've seen this move, like this shit towards more so like, let's say, the more optimal sort of approach, which unfortunately is a little bit more boring when you've been in the game for long enough.
Especially up in Scotland,
kind
of, like you say, everyone in Scotland's got lifting shoes and knee sleeves on and plates on the hamstring leg press. Josh,
where do you train, mate? Where do you train? Because I've trained out of Pro Life, and it was such a bad experience for how some other people train. It was bad.
Yeah, I train a future fitness school, so I actually live like 2 minutes from it. So I bought a flat around the corner. So yeah, it's the UK has just a collection of people who just trainers, and it's sad to me because there's a lot of them, like you're talking between ages like 16 and 25, and they're to put it bluntly, they're wasting their time. Every time they come into the gym, they're doing the same stuff. And it's a funny story because like I've got some of these guys, like they ask like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Which is fair enough, but it's almost as if like sticking their nose up at it. So for instance, like if I'm just for say superset, is it why are you supersetting? I was like, because in order to and grow my triceps doing like a compound lift, I need to do like 5 bench. That's so unsafe. Therefore, I'm going to use a superset, accumulate a little bit more volume, accumulate a little bit more stimuli, allow me to grow. And they're like, nah, I don't know. I don't think supersets work. I'm like, right, okay, well, if you don't think superset, then kill whatever.
It always comes across, doesn't it, in the like way of like almost doubt, where it's not they're saying you're flat out wrong, but it's like, why are you doing that? And then bearing in mind that half your weight have like 2 years in the game in comparison to like 20, and then they're just like, yeah. It's like, why ask, bro?
It is though, like that's the issue with like modern day social media is that they'll see a reel or a carousel post and they'll slide along it and read it, and it'll say how like supersets are potentially not going to be as hypertrophic as just straight sets. So then they just cling on to that, and it's like you've trained for 2 years, like you say, like me and Reese will do stuff that you quote unquote shouldn't do, but then afterwards we're like, fucking hell, that felt good. Like, let's do that more. Like, does it feel good? Do you enjoy it? Yeah, sound, do it then. Like, how many times do we get questions from clients or on Instagram, like, what should I do, this or this? And the answer is always, which one do you prefer? Which one feels better? Stick with that then. Like, people just overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It's one of those ones where it's like, everyone else is doing. Who cares? Take inspiration from here. Take a wee spice here, a wee spice. Give yourself 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks of doing it. See how the progress, and if it works, just keep doing it. So, myself and my training partner, we were doing obviously low volume in the sense of the actual working set. So we do for our leg session was just a leg curl, a leg extension, and then we done a hack squat leg press type thing, and we were doing that for months, and that was so against the grain when it comes to British bodybuilding style of training, like doing all these kind of like as part of a superset, like 5-second negatives, 15 reps each. So people are just too, I think they're too scared to think for themselves at the end of the day. I think that's
Yeah, no. Well, we'll let you get off, mate, because again, I know you're going out for a meal. What's the table that you've booked? Where are you going for the 1 day post show meal?
it's a steak place called Spanish Butcher in Glasgow. So I've had 3 times before, and I've had to cancel the previous 2 ones just for whatever reason. So to this place now, so it better live up to my expectation. Otherwise, I'm going to be raging. So I'm going to go with one of my best pals for that and just chill out, and then back to speak.
Nice one. Awesome. All good. Right. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you for coming on. And all the best for Alicante. And we'll have to get you on again in the future. Hopefully, we'll get you on next time. You'll have a pro card, mate. Cool, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
No worries, man. Catch you in a bit. Bye.
Thanks, mate. Bye. Right, we're still rolling.
Oh, smashed it again.
Just interview analysis, mate. That was a nice chat, wasn't it?
I
feel like I said that.
Yeah.
Wasn't.
It was a nice guy. That's the first time, obviously, we've ever spoken to him. We spoke to him for like a couple of minutes before we got him on, and he seems really sound. He seems like a well-educated guy. Like, you know, when we meet people who we feel like we vibe with and they just speak well, like he seemed to be one of those people. I mean, I couldn't understand the word he said. It was all about haggis, but other than that, it was sound.
I thought he was talking about Andy Robertson and Celtic just randomly. He just kept saying Celtic and all this.
John McGinn. I heard John McGinn a couple of times.
Did you? Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm not too sure, man. I literally, fair enough. If I want to talk about, I guess.
When we were asking about bodybuilding, yeah, I know, haggis, bagpipes.
Yeah. Oh. Triple captain John McGinn this weekend. Well,
if he watches Andy,
if he watches back and he doesn't even know football, he'll be like, "What the fuck?"
People that we get on the podcast who like maybe never watch the podcast might watch their episode and then like they think we're just being like dickheads afterwards. It's like, no, this is just what this is just us.
We are dickhead. We're not. This is nothing different. If we're always a twat, then we're just that's what we are. You know, it's like we've set the standard now.
His message. Thanks for that, mate. Really enjoyed speaking to you both. He was a proper sound guy. That he'd be a good person to get in the studio at some point, like if he's ever down in England, or like if we're ever up in Scotland to try and get a session in with him. He seemed really sound. So just as a quick wrap up on this episode, let's chat about the rest of the show. So did you see much else from the Two Bros show? Obviously, we spoke about the overall. I'll just get the photos back up.
Yeah, no, I know for men's physique, Michael Fox's client won.
Yeah.
I know he won the overall for men's physique. I didn't really see the classic guy looked all right, I guess. The dude in the middle to the left, he was the guy who did the PCA show a few weeks back. I think he won an overall. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did. Yeah, he said, yeah, he did the Scottish one. And Josh was on it, and he was like, oh, he was the best by quite some distance in person.
He was a lot better than the guy that we thought looked quite good. It was close.
Yeah.
Dean, I think his name.
I know the guy on the left is called like Mr. Aesthetic or something.
The guy on the right, what's his name?
Notorious IFBB.
Notorious IFBB guy, yeah.
Which, like, bro.
I mean, he's not an IFBB pro, but yeah.
No, can we do a mandate? Can we set up something? Do not have IFBB in your Instagram handle if you are not a pro. Like, please stop it.
How many people do that? For sure, there's not many that have that.
A few. Sheridan does it, and I know this guy does it. You know, I just don't get it.
Sheridan have it.
Sure, used to at least. I don't know. I used to have like Sheridan. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But I'm calling out a mandate, please, guys. Just win your pro card, because the thing is, the people that have IFBB usually are pretty good. Just wait a year or 2 or 3 or 4. You'll get your pro card, and then you'll be good.
Michael Fox's client does look really good.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he looks nice.
That pose isn't doing him any justice, but that is a lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
Really good.
Yeah.
This was what Anna Maria Williamson won wellness. She looks good. Obviously, you can't really tell with just one pose. Dana Marshall. To be fair, Two Bros are doing better than they have before in terms of actually like putting some photos up, which is cool. Dana Marshall.
They've gone from like here to like here. So good stuff.
To be fair, the bikini winner did look good on the overall shot.
Yeah.
it's the same one. No, we were saying, is it Katrina or Catriona?
Yeah.
I feel like it's
What,
the same
what
person. Might be wrong.
you saying? Katrina? It doesn't sound right, does it? It looks like it's
Well, I'm sure it's Katrina, isn't it?
Hmm.
No, she looks really good.
Yeah.
Looks like a
I will
decent
say,
lineup.
like they've actually uploaded all their photos, not like over the space of like 4 days. You know, where they stay on top of it for the first hour and then
I mean,
like,
it's actually quite good to be able to go through them because usually we don't really have much to sort of go off. But yeah, to be fair, like obviously Andy stands out. Other than that, within bodybuilding, Ross is always good, but obviously just like when you come up against Andy, it's quite a big difference.
see, no, you wouldn't have actually because you're a natty and Tom doesn't like natties. You know, Ross came in really, really quick. Tom, so Evolution Training's his coach, and he put it on his close friends, which is quite funny. And he put a caption like, "Don't know how Ross has came in," and the first like three sentences, and it's DMP. Like, and it starts with like DMP, and he put a screenshot on his close friends, and he was like, "No one's got it. I'm so disappointed." Yeah, he put that. So DMP protocol was in for Ross clearly.
And he still got beat.
Yeah, still got beat. But to be fair, condition wise, he was like he was just smaller than
Yeah, that's the
Andy.
thing. Like obviously, like you say, condition wise, is he that much leaner when he's just got a lot more muscle? You know what I mean? Like it's hard to tell from that pose, and obviously he's not fully in that pose there anyway. So I've not really seen any others.
Like
But
midsection. The guy on the right is midsection and glutes, like middle right, not all the way to the right. Sorry, bro.
yeah, mate,
The
this
muscle.
guy's good. His glutes are really good.
Really good. Yeah, really good.
He's like
I
erected,
imagine
just like
I
he just
imagine
needs
the
time.
guy imagine the guy on the far right, like I'm guessing that probably was the only one in his class. Like he doesn't really look like he belongs in the overall.
Yeah.
Just judging off these photos. But the abs and thigh shot, he's like somewhat out of the pose. So obviously he's not it's not a good pose either. Like it's
Yeah, but
way
he's
through.
not at
But
that. He's not at that level, like you say. He probably was what a novice, or even then,
yeah,
maybe not a busy class. But yeah, we've got
probably
the
on his
PCA Northeast, which we'll do a review of soon. That'll be out within the coming days, guys. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. But that's that for this episode. You got anything to leave us with, mate?
No, mate. That'll be that. I'll after this ends, I'll give you a call because we've got a few things to chat about for a minute, if you don't mind. But for the actual podcast, everything's cool. Everything's cool. So yeah, hope everyone enjoys. Please comment, like, and subscribe. We have a good episode. When's the one? Because we'll be when's it coming out with?
No, I need to send it to him tonight.
Okay, fair enough. And then we're filming with another guy this Tuesday, aren't we? If I'm not mistaken, in the studio.
No.
Is that not this week?
No, because I'm going to La Coach. I'll tell you about it off air.
Sound fair enough. Fair enough. Right. Well, either way, that's ruined my outro. We've not got anybody. We can't announce when the podcast is coming out.
Go on.
Hasn't been. Yeah, we've actually filmed some good content, and we were going to film some good content, but now we're not apparently. So yeah, that'll be that. But hopefully everyone enjoyed. Please comment, like, subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.